Okay, we're back. Uh, let's just call that an intermission. Tammy, I see you. Can you hear me? Please say yes. Shit, I'm tired. Okay. All right, let's do it. Wise thinker, good evening to you. Faith, good evening to you as well. Okay. Okay. Dana Hudson, where else would she be? But with me, 7 o'clock on Wednesday night. Okay. Tonight's topic is the whole damn system is guilty. We are going to be looking deep with in our criminal justice system. Every department within our criminal justice system is a problem, a serious problem. So when we get something fixed on one end and then it has to go to another end when it comes to justice, well, we may not get what we're looking for. What's justice to some may not be justice for others. Good evening, Mr. Odom. Good evening. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. This series came about as I continue to look at the injustices that Black people are still receiving in 2020. Just because an individual has been accused of committing a crime doesn't necessarily mean he or she has committed a crime. They have just been accused, and that's it. But whatever the case may be, guilty or innocent, we expect our justice system, if you will, to be tough on crime, but at the same time, be fair. And that's not happening. It's not. And a lot of times when we elect prosecutors, especially Black ones, Black people have a tendency to think that this is our heaven on earth. He knows our struggle. She knows our struggle. Well, sometimes those people are not necessarily coming to help you. They're coming for you. A prime example, Louisville, Kentucky. The system is not broken. It was designed the way it is. If you are a poor Black male, poor Black female, and you have been accused of committing a crime, a felony, you will walk into the courtroom with representation. That's the law, but inadequate representation. Simply put, our criminal justice system has become a pool of poison lakes where poor Blacks will drown. Most public defenders do not see their client until their client steps into their courtroom. A lot of times the decision has already been made. They're offering you this. I think you should take it. Well, the lawyer has never sat down with the client to get the client's side of the story. But I think it's a good deal, and I think you should go for it. Well, since I'm going to be the one doing the time, I think I need to make that decision. Public defenders don't care. They do not have money to pay investigators to go and investigate the charges against you. That takes time and a lot of money. They're overworked, heavy loaded. It's been that way for decades, and it's still not changing. President Obama said, we do not have to accept the world that they're trying to get us to live in. they're trying to take us back as black people 400 years. And if we ever needed the Lord, I promise you, we need him now. It's just that simple. Before we get into the whole damn system is guilty, let's go to Shreveport, Louisiana, my hometown. Shreveport, Louisiana has become a war zone. Shreveport, Louisiana has become a war zone. Okay, I see you, Della. Okay, thank you. You've heard me say this before. A black person is more likely to catch a bullet in Shreveport than the coronavirus. Today in Shreveport, we had about 4 shootings early in the day. And after we left the last one, we were going to get something to eat. The scanner goes off again. This was close to maybe 5 o'clock. There were at least 4 or 5 more shootings or shots fired in Shreveport, Louisiana. Today, I want to give a thumbs up to our chief of police, Ben Raymond. A man was shot multiple times by an individual today with a AK-47. The individual that was shot did nothing wrong. We were told that it all got started when a couple was having an argument. And for whatever reason, the male walks out with an AK-47, asking people, "You got a beef with me? You got a beef with me?" Nobody does. There was a young man standing in the yard. His child was standing by him. That male stood in the driveway and just because he could do it. And he takes off running. I spoke with Ms. Farris about 2 hours ago, I think, and asked her, has there been an arrest made? To her knowledge, she said no. And right now, I don't know if an arrest has been made either. But it was a young black male. You can't miss him. He's running up and down the street with an AK-47. The husband and wife that lives across the street, I pass there a lot. Most of the times when I pass, they're outside. It used to be you had to have done something, or you got to be involved in something for someone to attack you, shoot you, and kill you. That's not the case. You can be in your own home, minding your own business, and trouble shows up. Again, Ben Raymond, chief of police, just happened to be in the area, heard the shots, took off. Last check, the brother was in surgery. Steve Prater may have saved that brother's life by just being in the area, hearing the shots. So, Chief Ben Raymond, I love you big time. I applaud you 100%. I was going to talk tonight about pay raises for the Shreveport Police Department, which I was totally against. I mean, we have a lot of unsolved homicides in the city, and I don't know why in the hell someone thinks that they deserve a pay raise at this particular time. Mind you, the police for the most time only come after the fact. But there are a lot of homicides in Shreveport that are unsolved. Now, I can go with 2 or 3 being unsolved. But when we have multiple after multiple, and I know the biggest thing is somebody should tell what they know, but they're not. So either we have a bunch of incompetent police detectives on the force, or they don't know their job, or both. We have entirely too many unsolved homicides in Shreveport. But I've told the police chief several times, I stand with him because I know he's doing the best that he can with the people that he has, because he was shorthanded. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, some things should have changed by now. When we said there is over 100% increase in violent crimes in your city, that's not a problem. That's a crisis. That's a crisis. I still don't think they need a raise. Ben Raymond, if I could do it, I'd give you one right now just because of what you did earlier. I would. You don't get a raise because you like your job. You don't get a raise on a maybe. You don't get a raise on, I believe they're going to do better later on. You get a raise when your action says you qualify for a raise. It's just that simple. There are too many unsolved homicides that need to be solved. Now, might sound somewhat hypocritical from what you've heard me say in the past. But if we don't get rid of these Keystone cops, this trend will continue of unsolved homicides. I'm not going to give no employee of mine a raise and they're not doing a damn thing. I don't want to hear what I'm doing my best. Okay, that can only work for so long. So again, I said, I don't think they need a raise. I just don't. This is my opinion. And I know they're short-handed, but I think they had a class today with some new recruits. To God be the glory for that, I guess. But when you are given a raise or you expect a raise, well, surely your work speaks for itself. And if your work speaks for itself, that you need a raise, you don't have to come and ask me for a raise. I'm going to make damn sure that you get it. It's as simple as that. Again, Chief Prater, love you big time. I appreciate you. The Bayou Classic. The Bayou Classic. The Bayou Classic is coming to Shreveport, Louisiana. Let's get ready to do this. Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's outstanding. That's marvelous news. Bring in revenue. But now watch this. I can't invite you to my home right now. I want you to come. Oh, I love you. I love you. I want you to come. But right now, it's total chaos in my home. If you come to my home, you might get killed just for standing next to the brother that has a battlefield going on in his mind. I don't think now is the time for the Bayou Classic to come to Shreveport. We cannot protect the damn citizens that's here now. And you want to bring some more? You revenue over life. We can't protect what's here. Get past the bullshit. Oh, I went to Grambling. Oh, I went to Southern. I don't give a damn where you went. We cannot protect our own right now. So what makes you think this is a perfect time to bring the Bayou Classic to Shreveport, Louisiana, and somebody that's attending that will not make it home alive? Get your ducks in a row. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Why you would even think about that at a time like this, I have no idea. I don't. But now is not the time to bring the Bayou Classic to Shreveport, Louisiana. Incidentally, Mr. Odom, who I consider now to be a good friend, not just a client, lost his son last year in April at the hands of law enforcement in Shreveport, Louisiana. He's been on my show before, but there was a lot of things that we couldn't say, I didn't want to say. But he called the other day and says he's ready now, which simply means what we didn't tell you when he came on. Mr. Odom, call me if you can now. What we didn't tell you when he first came on the show, we're going to tell you now. Nothing's off the table. His son was shot multiple times in Shreveport after a high-speed chase with law enforcement. Law enforcement gets away with entirely too much that they call justifiable homicide. Do you know how easy it is to put the word justifiable in front of homicide because you're a cop? So what is justifiable homicide? And when is an outright murder? Good evening, call you live on air. What's your name and what state are you calling from?
I'm calling from, I'm from Heflin. That was my son that got killed on April 10th, Travinsky Odom. And I'm calling on his behalf. And I'm just getting people ready to let them know that I am ready to speak. I dropped down off of Facebook. And I had to kind of pull myself together because I am pissed at Shreveport. It's not a good place to live at all. So when I went up there and talked to the detectives, Mr. Scott, they was like, would you ever consider moving back to Shreveport? And I told the detectives, I said, hell no. The way y'all killing us niggas over here now, I wouldn't give a damn if you had gold nuggets in the middle of the street. It don't bother me. I ain't lost nothing in Shreveport, but my cousin. And the thing is, Shreveport, it don't mean shit to me at this moment. Because I am so pissed at Shreveport right now. And the way the corruption, the way the police officers are, I tell people all the time that they come to me and they say, well, I'm going to Shreveport this weekend. I said, well, you better wear a bulletproof vest because as long as you black, they're going to put a bullet in you if you do anything wrong. And, I'm tired. I'm tired. So I'm ready to express my feelings. And my thing is, I'm calling that punk-ass mayor. I'm calling him out. I'm calling Steve Prater. And I'm calling...
Mr. Odom, let me ask you this, and I know you're coming on tomorrow night, but do you think the police department has been honest with you about exactly what happened and how it happened?
No. They cover up a whole lot of stuff. They cover up and they lie. Mm-hmm. Like she discussed, like we said a long time ago, we got to thin out the good cops from the bad cops. And the bad cops are making the good cops look really bad.
Exactly. Travinsky Odom had been in prison, right?
Yes, he had been in prison. He did 9 years in prison. then turned around. He gave back. He had 65 years. He did 9 of them 65. And the whole scenario boiled down to Mr. Scott. He beat the Shreveport Police Department at their own game of getting blacks off the street.
You know, and another thing that bothers me is that I know your son had just recently been released from prison, but his mother died while he was in prison.
That's right.
So what state did his mother die in?
She died down on Highway 1, just past, it's a little truck stop out there.
So
Just up from her sister's house. Just up from her sister's house, about a mile and a half. About a mile
okay,
from her
so
sister's house.
it was in Louisiana, right?
Yes, sir. It was in, she lived out there off Highway 1 in Shreveport.
Okay. Did they take your son, Travinsky Odom, to the funeral?
No. They never, I called Angola, and I have another son that's in David Wade. They didn't let neither one of them make it to their mom's funeral. They hollered out they didn't have the transportation and the people to take them to the funeral.
Well, that doesn't make any damn sense. Because my advice to them, well, you better find somebody. If not, you drive my son. And I asked what state he was in and what state his mother died in, because if it's like he was in Texas locked up or California, then I can understand why they won't, bring him to another state. But he was in Louisiana, same state his mother was, and that she died in. So when your son was released?
He was released May 26th, 6 days after my birthday.
So tell me briefly, what was going on with your son on that April deadly day?
Well, Mr. Scott, he was depressed. He was pissed. And it was all about money. It was all about money. Their mom died. Okay, she left them $30,000. And I hope my older stepson is listening to this. He fucked over his brothers.
Okay.
And Spinsky bucked him and got his $10,000. Now, the other son, he's supposed to have been getting a lawyer to get him out of David Wade. But he went and fucked off that money, his $10,000 and plus his brother $10,000. And Richard, I hope you are listening to this right here, because your day gonna come. It's gonna come. And Booby is still sitting, DeAndre Miles, which is his daddy is FB Miles from Cedar Road. And he's currently locked up in David Wade, and with his older brother. See, I wish I'd have known that she had that kind of policy for them. I'd have, talked her into it and just told her, look, just put the money in the bank, give him his, and put the rest up for Travinsky and Booby. And when they get out, whatever, I'll give it to them. I'm not that dirty. I'm not that type of person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what it was all about. It was all about some fucking money. As James Brown said, a person would kill for money, and that's what it's all boiling down to. It ain't over yet until the fat lady sings. Because when DeAndre Miles get out, Bishop got the answer to him.
So
it's all about money, depressed, and that's it.
I want to ask you this one last question, and we're going to leave it here until tomorrow night. Well, maybe two. In the report, about your son and what happened from the police in the corner. Anywhere in that does it say he hit a vehicle with a pregnant woman in it?
No,
Okay.
not that I read, and I didn't. When I read up to the 19 shots that hit him, I had to close it up because. And then for them hollering about him shooting out the window, no. And me and you discussed that.
Mm-hmm.
That had to be a hell of a gun to produce, to manufacture all the shots that they said that was fired and everything. Did nobody come forward? Did nobody get hit? So, and then when they found the gun, it still had one bullet in it.
Stop. No, that's not true. It's impossible. It had to have more than one bullet in it. It had to.
It must have been a manufactured pistol with a manufactured clip in it. With a clip that can produce bullets, as they say, he was shooting out the window.
Oh. Do you remember the last conversation you and your son had last time y'all were together?
The last conversation that I had, Mr. Scott, was that with him. He asked me. He said, "Daddy, what you gonna do for my birthday?" I said, "Well, I'm gonna come get you. Or yes, you come down here to Monroe, and we're gonna put some meat on the grill and have a few drinks." And then the day that he got killed, I called him. He never answered the phone. I called him over and over and over. He never answered the phone. And so my niece, she called me. Well, Travinsky in a high-speed chase and all, blah, blah, blah. And I said, what? Then I hung up with her. And then the baby mama, she called me. And she said, I'm on the phone with Travinsky, and I just got off the phone with Travinsky, and he's in a high speed. I said, yeah, Justina just called me, and I was just got off work, and so I called 911, and when I called 911, I said, ma'am, please tell them, I'd rather see him in jail than to see him laying down in a casket. I said, put it out there on the air. And evidently, whoever was on 911 receiving calls, the bitch didn't put it on out there for them to hear. And that's what I want to get my hands on.
Okay, but were you the only relative that called 911 and to tell him the state he was in?
Yes.
Nobody else called?
That he was,
no, did anybody else call?
No.
Okay.
I was the only one called, and I told him that he was mentally disturbed. He was pissed off and I told dispatcher all that. And I said he got mental issues. He ain't taking his medication and everything. And so my thing is, please don't kill him. Don't kill him. And Mr. Scott, after the shooting, they never called me or nothing. They never called me. And the only way I found out that he was dead already was that the baby mama called me. And she told me, no, Travinsky dead. I said, what? And that was it. I went on a 5-day drinking spree. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. And the thing is, I didn't have but 2 kids. And Shreveport took my baby. But I'm going to put it like this. Somebody going to pay for it, one way or the other. Somebody's gonna pay. I'm 59 years old. I done lived my life. But somebody in Shreveport on the police department, they gonna pay. They gonna pay. They gonna pay, and they gonna pay dearly. And what pissed me off with the whole scenario was when that drunk ass Steve Prater got there on the camera with a motherfucking fishing hat on and pale ass red. The bitch he was drunk when he showed up on the scene. Can't nobody tell me I was married to a white woman for 27 years, and you can't tell me when they get drunk, they turn red. And that motherfucker was pale ass red. He can't tell me he wasn't. And he never come to the detective office. He ain't never stepped out to the public. He ain't never called me and tell me nothing about my son and then. So that's my whole point. I would never live in Shreveport.
I remember that feed because during the live feed, several people were asking him, do you really know what happened? Go and get your facts together and come back, because he wasn't making any sense. So I remember that. Mr. Odom, we're with you 1,000,000%. And I know you and I will talk later, but tomorrow night we will bring you on and see if we can finally get some justice for what happened to your son.
Oh yeah, we gonna get justice. We gonna get justice. I'm gonna tell you like this right here. I'm a person that travels. I don't mind traveling, and the thing is, Mexico or wherever, it ain't nothing but a spot to me. And my thing is, like I always say, and like you say, me and you are too much alike, Mr. Scott. I don't give a damn. I live my life. If they put a bullet in me tomorrow, I come to Shreveport. I done live my life. And my thing is, I don't care. I don't give a fuck about nothing at this moment. And I really want to stand up in the front of the police department, and I want to tell Mr. Whatever his name, Brother Adrian, I want to tell him, because that day I went up there to talk to him, he hid behind the motherfucking walls. He's another Cedric Glover. He's a black man that wants to be white. He's a white man's nigga. Strictly.
Okay, Mr. Odom, I love you big time, and I thank you so much for calling in, and we will speak with you later, bro.
Okay, well, I'll be looking forward for you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go back on this.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Yvette, get ready. The whole damn system is guilty. The whole damn system is guilty. Some people posted comments on our YouTube channel when we announced we was bringing him back on. One lady in particular, what she posted was 1,000,000% wrong. And I simply told her, I don't know where you're getting your information from, but what you said happened to Travinsky Odom, and what you're saying he did to somebody else. This is my first time hearing of it. So she comes back and says, I know what I'm talking about. So I don't mind you disagreeing with me, but don't get ugly. Don't get ugly. So we took it off, a comment, and we blocked her. 95% of elected prosecutors in the United States are white. And 85% of those prosecutors who will run for re-election will win. The people that are governing our justice system make life-altering decisions, from the ones that you love and the ones that love you. I don't mind you being tough on crime, but in the midst of being tough on crime, I want you also to be fair on crime. Just saying you tough on crime don't move me. I want you to be fair when you arrest someone and when you charge them. It's not enough with me for you to say, I'm gonna be tough on crime. That scares me. That scares me, especially when it comes to black people. Our criminal justice system cares more about conviction than justice. If you're black, you're poor, you walk into the criminal courtroom without adequate representation, you become part of the system and you can get lost in that system. Good evening, calling you live on air. What's your name and what state are you calling from tonight?
Hi, it's your sister. I'm calling from Louisiana.
Okay, hold tight there. Now, we've seen many videos of unarmed black men that have been executed at the hands of police officers in this country. Most of those that were executed, black, did not have a weapon. Yet the police report said two things: I feared for my life, and I thought he had a weapon. You know how many people have died on I feared, died on I thought? I need you to know. I need you to know. A brother was shot 7 times in the back, unarmed. Michael Brown, unarmed. George Floyd, unarmed. The treatments that white people get when they walk into a courtroom are totally different from what black people will receive, even when the cases are identical. The same system that used to use legal and lynching in the same sentence is the same system that we're dealing with today. When it comes to blacks, there's a separate justice for them. Again, the people I just called out were unarmed. Yvette.
Yes.
You called me this morning and you asked if I saw a post, and I told you I hadn't seen it. Then I pulled it up. I want you to tell the people what you told me about this post.
Okay. Well, first of all, other than brown people, they're quick to say brown people are quick to pull that race card. Well, day before yesterday, Sunday, there was an incident in Florida. And it was about a police officer who was chasing a suspect who was already identified as, well, they were trying to commit it. So something was wrong with him. His family, was trying to have him committed, but I guess he didn't want any parts of it. Anyway, I guess when they came to the house, whatever, they chased this guy who was white. He was 21 years old, and the officer, just by chance, was black. Well, he was telling the guy to stop. At this point, he wasn't charged with anything because he was just running. I'd run too, trying to commit me,
Exactly.
But he was running, and the guy wouldn't stop. So when the deputy finally caught up with him, I guess he tackled him. But either way, the suspect pulled a knife on him and he stabbed him in the neck. Well, when he got up, I guess the handcuffing, the guy took off running again. But this black officer, deputy, I think it was the deputy, I don't know if he took out his taser or if he already had the taser, but he took out the taser and he tased this guy, even though he was running away from him, and he had, caused bodily harm to him. But my thing is, had there been the opposite, had there been a white officer and a black suspect, and he wouldn't even make it past, the first time running. But they gave this man time to run. He told him to stop. He didn't have, at that point, he didn't have anything, nothing was wrong at that point. But he gave him a chance. He gave him time to think about it. But this guy pulled out a knife and he stabbed this officer in his neck. Okay, so what's fair about that?
And I watched the video. And I watched the officer when he said something to the extent about, you're not in any trouble, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was probably less than 2 seconds after that the guy stabbed him in his neck.
Mm-hmm.
And he's chasing the guy. And he has his taser out, which is yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And several times, stop.
Yeah, kind of like Barney Fife, stop.
And since he's really going to stop. So then, for some reason, the taser is put back in the holster. And the cop now pulls out a gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the cop pulls out the gun, how many times did the police officer shoot that young male?
Not once. With the taser, once. But I get tired of them asking us, I get tired of them saying, we always want to pull out the race card. Well, in this case, you can't pull out the race card. George Floyd didn't have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not understanding.
Mm-hmm.
But they get so upset with us, saying that. Now, if you put that on Facebook or you put in front of Trump or whomever, I wonder what would be said about it.
That kind of just threw me this morning when you called, because so many of us are unarmed, yet we're killed on a thought. And
Exactly.
that's how I know when it said we got to do better at the academy. The problem is not at the academy. The problem is with the individuals that we're choosing to give a gun and a badge to. Now, I'm not saying I wanted the white guy shot, but I'm like, you can't tell me that this is not racism. I mean, you cannot tell me that there's not a separate rules for blacks and for whites. You can't make me believe it. I mean,
No, and the same thing with the police officer. This particular police deputy, he made a decision to pull out a taser. Maybe that may have been all he had. I don't know. But he made a decision to use a taser or to use a gun. So if he had a choice, if he did have a gun, he thought about it and he chose to use that taser. So if he did that, why can't the other people do it? The other people do it.
I totally agree with you. If there was ever a time that I would agree on a justifiable homicide, whether the guy was black or white, this action right here, I think it could be used as justifiable homicide, because not only did the brother have a weapon, he used that weapon on the officer.
Exactly. But I promise you, had that happened and he killed the guy, with the same situation, meaning this situation, they'd have come up with some reason to fire that police officer and to say he was wrong, when so many of them have done the same thing and gotten away with it.
Exactly. The whole damn system is guilty. And so with this series, we're hoping that we can get a dialogue started that will begin to address these issues, because emotions don't change laws. Conversation changed laws. A report was done a while back in 2018. It said black people make up 12% of the United States adult population, but accounted for 33% of people serving a prison sentence, while white people made up 63% of the adult population, yet just 30% of prisons inmates. Now, there it is. It's as simple as that. So, just because somebody has been accused of a crime does not necessarily mean that he or she has done it, but we pick and choose, as you said, we cherry pick who we shoot and who we don't shoot.
Mhm.
Now,
It made me think of that case in Bossier that happened recently, where the guy that had mental problems and the Bossier, the police department knew about it. You know, it wasn't anything new to them,
exactly.
but they killed him. They shot and killed this man. This man right here, he knew it. They were trying to convict him, but what did he do? You
And-
ran after him. You didn't kill him.
Exactly. And with the Bossier incident, you made me think about the incident in Shreveport with Tommy McLaughlin when we saw
Exactly.
4 police officers in Shreveport beat the life out of him. I'm going to say it again, beat the life out of him. He was unarmed. But as my sister just said, not only was he, they say he had a knife, I doubt it. But here's the thing, not only did they beat him to death, he was a mental patient. And with that being said, just like the SWAT team has a negotiator, if regular police officers are not experienced in hostage situations or dealing with mental patients, well, that's fine. There must be somebody similar to the hostage negotiation that we call out to try to de-escalate the situation first in saving that person's life. But if you've done all you could do, then you have to step back. I understand that. But that this is a mental patient and you've been out here before, I can't understand why you would pull a gun. Even if it's something new, why would you pull a gun? The only answer we get from the police departments is that police officers are trained to kill. They're not trained to wound. I don't dispute that. But every act from an individual does not warrant an ass beating or killing from the police just because they don't know how to deal with mental patients.
They don't shoot shoplifters.
Come on.
They don't shoot them. They don't kill them. But they trying to kill. That's a choice. That's a choice. In my opinion, it's a choice.
That's it. It is. It is a choice without a doubt. And it's scary what's going on because it looks like it's only going to get worse. Karens are still popping up. When you have a chief of police and a DA that says this act was a justifiable homicide and you know that it wasn't because the brother was unarmed, well, that troubles me because I'm thinking about your whole career on the force. So if we have this on you, we need to pull your record and see what else have you done that the system don't want us to know about. But the, prisons don't stay open with empty beds. They don't.
Exactly.
They don't. So empty beds produce $0.
Well, fill them with those child molesters. Fill them with those, wife abusers. Fill it with that and stop letting them get off so easily.
Exactly.
How about that? Put them in there.
Exactly.
If somebody does something and all they're gonna do is get a slap on the wrist, well, they ain't got nothing to lose. Why not?
That's it. That's it. And especially, when you walk into a courtroom with a public defender, your ass is in serious trouble. You're in.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, like you said earlier, a lot of these defendants don't see the public defenders until they walk into court that day, if then.
That's it. You're absolutely right. And then when the public defender speaks with the individual, well, this is what they're offering you. I think you should take it. I think it's a good deal. Well, the public defender hasn't heard the defendant side of the case yet.
Exactly. I'm
So,
not going to just take something because you think it's best. You don't know me. You don't know what's best for me.
especially when I'm gonna be the one doing the damn time. So if it works for you, it may not work for me. So we must do better with who we put in office. If you don't have the right people in there that's going to execute justice without anything criminal attached to it, things are only going to get worse. The majority of the chief prosecutors in this country are white, mostly males. And so when they see you, they see a criminal, they see a nigger, they see an inanimate object void of any understanding, 3/5 of a human, so execute him by any means necessary. That's why I continue to say, y'all can come in from out the rain. The protests, they're not working. You got to examine the protests and come back and tell me what you find. If we're in a protest against the violence we continue to receive from the police, we're protesting that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The police come out in military gear and begin to still attack us. It's like they're hearing us, but they don't give a damn. So we have to address the makeup of the system and pull those that shouldn't be in there out, put those that should be in their rightful spot. If you ever want justice, that sign don't mean nothing. Your tears, with all due respect, mother, don't mean nothing. Emotions don't change laws. Conversation does.
Yeah, like you and I were speaking this morning, and I suggested that I asked you, why is it that we don't have a white advocate for us? And I know that sounds crazy, but until one of them stands up and speaks and means what they're saying, because they're on our side, a lot of them won't get it. A lot of them, in my opinion, they're not going to get it. We can protest till the cows come home. It's just another nigger, another black person, protesting something that they probably did. But if one of them just stood up and said, this isn't right, I just think more of them would hear that. But as long as we're saying it, and singing the same old tune, they're not listening. They're not going to.
They're not, because they've done this song and dance for decades. A study said that after 2 or 3 months during a protest, blacks will begin to back off and go back to life as it once was, with or without the justice they were seeking.
That's what they're banking on. A lot of them are banking on that, and they'll figure, we're gonna get tired. They walk away. That's why I hate that it ended like that. Where is it? Missouri, Oregon. When those people consistently did that, until your president brought those, other people in, it was going fine until they came. It was going fine. I mean, yeah, they should have done the looting and, none of that. I don't agree with that. Mm-hmm. But those people were peacefully protesting.
Exactly.
They were peacefully, and are they still doing it? Because I don't hear anything about it.
I don't know either if they're still doing it, but we just have to stop that. That's really bullshit. That's really bullshit. They're not hearing us when we're out there on the pavement, walking up and down the damn street. You have to sit at the table with them and look at every law that saves a police officer from a homicide just by putting the word justifiable homicide. But because you have justifiable in it, does not mean it is justifiable homicide. But if a cop do it, he had to do it. He was left with no choice. And it's sad that the year is 2020 and we're still dealing with the same oppressions that we dealt with in 1942.
Because the idea is, as far as Black people, meaning us, we haven't changed anything. We haven't come up with any new ideas. We still thinking that, like you said, the margin is going to change. And it didn't work then. It's not working now. Let's come up, like you said, let's sit at the table and come up with something else.
That's it. That's the only thing. It's just not working. So that's the only thing that's going to put a dent in this like extremely fast when you sit down with the lawmakers. And don't forget, some of the same individuals that write laws to lock you and I up when we disobey, a lot of those lawmakers should be going inside a jail cell where they just sent someone else because the system is crooked from northwest, east, and south. It's crooked. It is a crooked system. It's just that damn simple. It's only right when they say it's right. If I kill you, depending upon how I did it, or how you think I did it, I can be charged with capital murder. But does that mean I'm right? I mean that they're right? No, it doesn't mean that. But you can kill them, but I can't. You can execute somebody, send them to death row. It's legal for you to kill somebody, but it's illegal for me to kill them.
That's it.
Tracy Thomas said you gotta hit them in the pockets, not Marge. Tracy, you just preached. You just preaching. I'll probably be saying this until the day I die. We got to get cops back up into a corner where they begin to think twice, not necessarily before they pull a gun, but before they pull that taser out, because now we can sue you individually. We can have your ass locked up without a bail because you're a cop. I don't think no cop should ever be given a bail. No cops. Because I don't expect for you to become the damn criminals we have hired you to chase. I don't think you need a bomb. You don't. But we have to get to a point to where we scare them when they realize they could lose their pension, and not only that, they could lose their damn freedom. This I thought, I feared. If you are that damn gullible, that's super stupid, that's scary, why in the hell are you on the police force?
You know, like you said, start hitting them in their pockets. And like you always say, stop giving them paid leave, administration leave, whatever it is when they do something wrong.
Exactly.
Stop that.
Exactly.
Stop it. Because it's the same scenario. They get on paid administrative leave, and then they're acquitted or they're found, they're not charged or what have you. So they still have an income, to depend on.
And I just don't think that's right, because you're getting paid and you're not doing a damn thing, but somebody is being buried because of your actions.
Okay, so if I went out and shot a cop and I was working, I was a teacher, okay, and you got me locked up, will I still get paid? Can I still get paid?
That's it.
Until you find out whether I'm guilty or innocent. And we all know you're going to try your damnedest to make me guilty.
Exactly. So without any repercussions from my action. If I'm not penalized, then
And do it again.
we continue to do it. When Trump refuses to condemn white supremacist groups, it's simple. He can't condemn what he's in. Can't.
And he's not going to. He's not going to. Trump can do, when he's don't get me started on that. You know, he still hosting these super spreader rallies. He does what he wants to do. This is a man who said he could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue, kill somebody, and nobody would get it for it.
And he's not lying. And so
he's not.
In bringing up that with Trump, probably saying, why do you bring up Trump? Trump name.
Trying to bring up that Obama every time he gets called on his shit. How about that?
Exactly. I mean, every time, you know, like, oh, he did what he did and stuff. Now, I said that because Donald Duck is the reason hate crime is on the rise in this country. Donald Duck incites riots. Donald Duck gives a thumbs up to the white supremacist groups. And when you do that and you speak ill of blacks, well, that tell other races, white folks, we can do what the fuck we want to them too, because we got Trump, it's gonna bag us up.
And wait till after the election. Win or lose, it's gonna be bad. You know, if he wins, you know, what did I tell you? The guy said that I posted, the guy from that Proud Boys thing. He said if Trump wins, no, he said if Biden wins, we ready, and if Trump loses, if Trump wins, you get ready.
You know, I've been saying it for a while. Black people, you're going to lose the war. We're going to lose. For one, too many of our black men are locked up. But we leave the women. But if you don't know I'm coming for you, you can't strategize. But I'm coming for you. Black people, you better arm yourselves. God's 38s, 25s, bullshit. You better get you some assault rifles because they coming for your ass. Without a doubt.
What is it that you always say? If you don't have, you won't have to get ready if you stay ready.
That's it. That's it. Because when these white folks come and you're not prepared, well, there goes your life and your family's life.
It's gonna be some mess, and I hate to think like that. You know, people say you're so negative. No, I'm just kind of real about this. And if you're naive and stupid, if you don't think that way when it comes to this situation, these people are not gonna allow Biden to get in that office and everything else goes smoothly. It's not gonna happen. It might not happen the day after the election, but by the time inauguration time comes, just be ready.
And exactly, several white supremacist groups, including Proud Boys, have already went public and said it will be held on that day. If
I posted it.
Right, that exactly. If that Klansman is not put back in the White House, and when he says the only way I don't win is because of voter fraud. That don't make any damn sense. Let me tell you something, dude. You don't know what the fuck you're doing now. You did not win the first presidential election. You bought states, not votes. You wasn't elected, you were selected. And if you blacks don't think that Donald Duck has an excellent chance of sitting in that damn seat again, You are fools
Exactly.
with serious problems because, again, he didn't win this one. They pushed him in there. And if you think that your vote really counts, you too are a fool with a damn problem. If they don't want your vote to count, I don't give a fuck what people tell you. That goddamn vote won't count. It won't. It won't. They don't give a fuck about your life. So do you think they give a fuck about a vote?
They already doing those, what is it,
Fake voting machines.
Yeah, they already doing it.
They had to be ordered to pick them up.
Mm-hmm. Voter suppression. It's already started. Those people stood in line. I was so happy to see that in Georgia and in Texas. But some of those people stood in line so long. It was done on purpose. It was done to discourage. You know, it's just, we just better get ready. That's all I gotta say. Vote. I'm not saying don't vote. 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 Go and vote. That's what you want to do. Vote. But don't let them discourage you from doing it. Because that's what they want. So they can put his ass right back in there.
Exactly. Okay, we're going to get out of here. Yvette, I love you. I will talk to you in a little bit. Thank you so much.
Okay, you too. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
You have to wake up. You have to wake up and realize who we're dealing with. Take nothing for granted. Nothing. These long lines were done on purpose. One polling place didn't have but 3 machines. Most people the other day stayed out there for 5 or 6 hours waiting to vote. The thing is to get you into a state of mind where it ain't that serious, and I'm going to go. I'm not telling you not to vote, but I am telling you this. Don't you think that they won't take your vote and throw it in the damn trash. Just yesterday, we wasn't allowed to vote. Now today we can. Georgia, another problem. Major election is always Georgia and Florida, who loves Trump. We got to get prepared because it's coming. In the twinkling of an eye, hell is going to break loose in the United States. And with that being said, to the brothers, especially in Shreveport, Louisiana, the bullets that you all are wasting on your own people, if you must end somebody's life, shoot the motherfucker that's coming for you from the system. That's what you do. I don't know how you can be so fucking stupid and be divided at a time like this. It's us against them. The black men have to defend and respect our women. I agree, but now watch this. When we look at respect, we are to respect them. But it is also the black woman's job to give the black man something to respect. Simple as that. There won't be enough black men to protect black women in this country for 2 reasons. We're in prison. No, we're in prison or we dead. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Don't get caught slipping because a race war is guaranteed any day, at any time. Stop going to Walmart, getting a poster board with a permanent marker. If you're met with violence, then you must meet that violence with violence. Go to the gunfight with the Holy Bible. I promise you, you'll never live to tell the story. You won't. We're living in some dangerous times. Mitt Romney says Trump incites riots. And he's against all the politicians that continues to inflict injustices upon people of color. Mitt Romney said that. Donald Duck don't hide who he is. Maya Angelou said it best. When someone shows you who they really are, believe it. In your face, Trump tell you, I don't like you niggas. Fuck you. And white supremacists feed off of that. And then they come and attack us simply because of the color of our skin. White people, white cops, they're not scared of us. They're not. They're not. I don't know how you can be scared of any goddamn body and you got a gun on your side. I just don't know. I don't know. Because I wouldn't be. But that's an excuse. So you're scared of black people. Black people are monsters, right? Well, you know when you get on the force, you're going to have to come in contact with these monsters. Yes. Why take the job? If you're scared. Why take the job? Listen, I love you guys. We'll be back tomorrow night. Be it the Lord willing to continue our series on the whole damn system is guilty. Love yourselves. Be good to yourselves. Treat people right. Love them today like you know for a fact that tomorrow around about this time, they'll be dead. And by all means, make sure y'all hear this. Get your pen and get your paper and get your write. Or you can look at the banner down there. Put some money in the damn Cash App. Put some money in the PayPal app. I'm not doing this for my health. I'm not. If you love me and you love what I'm doing, give me some eating money. Give me pay my light bill one time in full. That's all I'm asking. If each one of you here tonight would give $1, I will be so happy come morning. I love you guys. I'm Al Scott with Injustice Investigation. Remember, I am not always right, and you are not always wrong. Peace the Lord willing, and the creek don't rise tomorrow right here. Y'all have a good night.